Islam, 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 and welcome. Islam, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Moorish Light, where the revolution is a podcast. Um, Let us start with the Moorish American prayer. Islam, Islam, Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Moorish Light, where the revolution is a podcast. We begin by giving praises to the Almighty God, Allah, the causeless cause, and the rootless root from which all things have come. We give honor to the last prophet in this dispensation, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in the first, second, and third form. I give honor to Grand Sheikh John Gibbonsville for building on the foundation laid by the founder. I give a special honor to my teacher, Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingle Eel, Prophet Noble Drew Ali III, who was with the founder as well as the reincarnated prophet. I also like to give honor to Timothy Dingle Eel, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and this takes us to the degree of modern day Moses and Aaron. Honor to Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the great emancipator, Abraham Lincoln. Honors to Supreme Grand Sheikh and Sheikess Prather Eel, Supreme Grand Sheikess Louise Dingle Eel, the noblest. Honorary Supreme Grand Sheikh Ronald Thornhill and his wife Sheikess Thornhill, as well as to our Grand Sheikess and National Grand Sheikess Tiffany Jones Spad. Islam, and welcome to the Moorish Light, the Soul School. Shining light, clearing up the confusion, and teaching the basic facts. Our objective is unity and manifesting the ultimate goal of the Moorish movement. Here's what we will not do. We are not going to dispute Charters, who is the Supreme Grand Sheikh. We are here to establish a basic foundation of the Moorish movement and love and understanding. And since this is the Moorish light, it's only right that we define light. Spiritually, light symbolizes knowledge, truth, and divine presence, hope, guidance, and purity, representing awareness and the path away from spiritual darkness and parenthesis, ignorance and sin, towards enlightenment, goodness, and union with the divine, appearing across cultures as God's creation, inner wisdom, or a guiding force for humanity. It signifies wisdom, life, revelation, and the illumination of the spirit within. And so we do bring to you the Moorish light. And of course, as we do every week, we open our program reading from the Holy Quran of Mecca. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to share. Here we go. Go back. And of course, I'm going to share the screen. And this is Surah 3. We're reading ayats 105 through 109. well, I'll read through 108. 105 says, and let me make it nice and large because I don't want anybody to say I made this up. Be not like those who are divided amongst themselves and fall into disputations after receiving clear signs. For them is a dreadful penalty. To know the truth and to go contrary is death. Let me say that again. To know the truth and go contrary is death. Or let me put it this way. Maybe you thought you knew the truth and went contrary. But the point is the truth won't change no matter how much you might change. The truth itself will not change. So let's go on to ayat 6. On the day when some faces will, in parentheses, be lit up with white, and some faces will be in the gloom of black, to those whose faces will be black, will it be said, did ye reject faith after accepting it? Taste then the penalty for rejecting faith. And I'll read that again just so it'll be clear. On the day when some faces will be lit up with white, some faces will be in the gloom of black. To those whose faces will be black, will it be said, did ye reject faith after accepting it? Taste then the penalty for rejecting faith. And the footnote goes on to explain it just a little bit further. It says the face or waj expresses our personality, our inmost being. White is the color of light. To become white is to be illumined with light, which stands for felicity, the rays of the glorious light of Allah. You heard when I opened my program, I read you the definition of light. Now, as Moorish Americans, we should not be using the plantation concept of black and white. We do have a question in our 101. What does white mean? White means purity. Purity means God, and God means the ruler of the land. So when we talk about white, we should never be putting it in perspective of the plantation concept. They white, we black. That is not the concept that we should be focused on in our expression of more science. We should not do that. So it goes on to say, black is the color of darkness, sin, rebellion, misery, removal from the grace and light of Allah. These are the signs of heaven and hell. The standard of decision in all questions is the justice of Allah. So no matter where we go in the world, in the holy books, black is going to carry the same connotation, the same definition. It's not going to be positive. When we received the term black, it was not because it was a positive. It was because they were cutting us off from our very essence. They were cutting us off from our forefathers. They were cutting us off from our religion. They were cutting us off from our birthrights. They blackened everything, and we could see nothing about ourselves once they put that label on us. And it says, but those whose faces will be lit with white, they will be in the light of Allah, mercy, therein to dwell forever. I know you have walked up on some people and said, you glowing. You just look, it's like a light around you. Well, that's the kind of light we're talking about. That's the kind of white we're talking about. We're not talking about European Asiatic. That's not what we're talking about. Or black and white, as you may call it. We're not talking about on the plantation and off the plantation. That's not what we're talking about. So oftentimes there are times where people have, or even AI has identified Moorish as being dark or black, and I had to have a conversation with AI because that is not correct. And one day I'll share that conversation as a part of my program. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We do have a topic today, and that's what we're going to talk about. And 108 says, these are the signs of Allah. We rehearse them to thee in truth. And Allah means no injustice to any of his creatures. So once again, this is Surah 3, Ayat 105 through 108. So as we go through this, I'm looking. We're gonna do my program for today. As we go through this, we're going to hopefully come to a clear understanding as to what it really means to say you're black, and it's not a good thing. I don't care how well you dress it up, how good it smells. It is what it is. So, our topic today is who will bear the cross for Drew Ali. And I know y'all, well, what you talking about, cross? We not Christians. Well, didn't the cross exist before Christianity? Didn't Jesus exist before Christianity? So we're talking about the cross in that particular perspective. So I'm going to stop sharing this, and I want to go into the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple, because somebody bared the cross for Jesus. And that's what I want to talk about. That's how I'm going to start my program off today. Let's see. And that would be, I should have did this a minute ahead of time, but I think it's chapter 16. Let's make sure. Yes, chapter 16. And we're going to start at 21. Now, understand, Jesus was crucified by his own people. Jesus was crucified by the request of his own people, according to Roman law. And it was the high and mighties, those who had converted over to Tiberius being their God or their king. So today we have that same scenario, but in a different kind of way. And that is that when you attempt to make a Moorish American black, you are attempting to crucify not only the Moorish American, but the prophet as well. And I want to make that very clear. Moorish does not come under blackness, because Moorish existed before the label black was put upon us. So I'm going to emphasize that every program, because somehow or another, some of you have come to the belief that Moorish is comes under the title of Black history or African American history. I beg to differ. That is not it. Moorish has its own category. So we're going to start with, what did I say, verse 22? Probably not what I said, but anyway, that's what we're going to start. Or 21. The rabble could not wait until they reached the place of skulls. As soon as they had passed the city gates, they rushed upon him, smote him with their hands. They spit upon him and stoned him, and he fell upon the ground. Now, who are they talking about? They're talking about Jesus. That's what they did to Jesus. Let me read it again. Let me show you how our people are. The rabble could not wait until they reached the place of skulls, and as soon as they passed the city gates, they rushed upon him, smote him with their hands, they spit upon him, stoned him, and he fell upon the ground. And one, a man of the law, stood forth and said, Isaiah said, he shall be bruised for our transgressions, and his stripes we shall be healed, and by his stripes we shall be healed. And Jesus laid all bruised and mangled on the ground. A high priest called out, Stay, stay, you men. Behold the gods of Herod, and they will crucify him. Now Herod is one of Jesus, he's one of Jesus' people. Just like Maxine Waters. She one of our people. Or Al Green. Or that other young lady whose name I can't recall at the moment. They supposed to be about the people, but instead of being about the people and Jesus, they was about crucifying Jesus, because they felt like Roman law was more, worshiping the European was more relevant than upholding their brother. So let me read a little further. And because, you know, a Pilate washed his hands. So the Roman soldiers wasn't going to touch Jesus. But here we come. And there beside the city gates they found Barabbas, cross. The frenzied mob cried out, "Let him be crucified." So you know they sold Jesus out to Barabbas paid the priests and all these higher ups a lot of money to escape. He was a rapist, a murderer, and a thief. And they took his money and put Jesus in his place. So he's getting ready to put Jesus on Barabbas' cross. And Caiaphas, the other ruling Jew, came forth and gave consent. Hmm. It wasn't Pilate that gave consent, it was Caiaphas, the high priest. And they lifted Jesus from the ground, and at the point of swords, they drove him on. So they poking this man with swords. And I mean, we could talk about what swords mean, but I'm not going to do that, not today. But I just want you to get a clear picture of what is going on. And you're trying to do the same thing to Prophet Noble Drew Ali with your blackness. And I say unto you, I declare unto you, and I make known unto you, not today, not tomorrow. No, 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 no. This is so. I'm going. Okay. And a man named Simon from Cyrene, a friend of Jesus, was near the scene. And since the bruised and wounded Jesus could not bear his cross, they laid it on his shoulders of this man and made him bear it to Calvary. So even to the end, Jesus had a friend. So my question to you, are you a friend to Prophet Noble Drew Ali? Or are you throwing stones? Or are you spitting on him? What are you doing? So as we go on, I just wanted to read that piece. And so the question is, who will bear the cross for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? So I'm gonna stop sharing. Where we at? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. And so what I want to talk about is and then we did talk about the divine origin. And so for the past few weeks, we have been discussing the Moorish divine constitution and bylaws. And once again, I'm going to draw our topic straight from the Moorish divine constitution and bylaws. And as I was doing my research, as I do, because I can't claim I know everything, but I will research it to find out. So as I was researching, I came across a little funny thing here. And I thought that somebody needs to address this. So I found this divine constitution and bylaws. And I noticed it's different. Do you see that? See, this is what we've allowed people to do with with the blessings the prophet gave us. But not only that, I don't know if you can see this, but this comes under the blackfoundation.org. And I just discussed with you, 2 minutes ago? That Moorish does not come under black. But here we are. Why is the Black Foundation grabbing onto Moorishness when Moorishness teach us we are not Negro, black, or colored? I mean, it's just something for you to think about, because I need you most to wake up and pay attention, because you fussing and fighting about a lot of stuff, or whatever we call ourselves doing. But we need to clean up our house. We need to get some things in order here. We need to get some things in order, because this is out of order. Out of order. The Black Foundation. We gotta stop. We gotta stop. So, what is the Moorish cross? So, that's the next thing we're going to talk about. And of course, remember I said we're using the divine constitution and bylaws. And I'm put this up here because I want somebody to explain to me why is this listed under the blackfoundation.org. So I need somebody to help me understand. So I'm sure somebody somewhere might give me a hit on my Facebook page or on Instagram or somewhere and explain this because I need some explanations. I need to understand because you can't teach Moorish and black in the same breath. You can't do it. But anyway, so the Moorish cross is and will forever be Act 6. Act 6 is our Moorish cross. Why Act 6? Because the whole plan is right there. Let me read it to you in case you've never heard it before. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. So if you're not a Moorish American, you should proclaim your nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. And I always use the must because this is the only place you see may in the divine constitution. That they may know, no, that they must know that they are part and parcel of the said government. Now, part and parcel is the old way that the divine constitution was written, divine constitution and bylaws was written. And we've had these discussions on and on. And part and parcel means that it's an essential and integral part of the government. This government can never function right until we take our rightful place within it. Understand? Can I say that again? This government cannot function correct until we take our proper part in it. It says, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and last until 1865 during the time of slavery. So is the prophet talking about us in Spain when he's talking about slavery? No, he is not. Is he talking about us over on the continent? No, he is not. He's talking about right here. He says these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779. And if you are a Sunday school student, if you are a Sunday school student, you can go right to question 85. Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774. Are we talking about 1620, 1619? We are not. So when we talk about slavery, we could say from 1774 to 1865. 1865, it should have been over. So let me finish reading. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and last until 1865 during the time of slavery. So the time of slavery is over. But this is a new era of time now. Not some men, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, which is right here in what we call America. So, this is our cross. And why? Because here is where you develop your Moorish American mind. This is where you get acquainted with your forefathers. What your forefathers were, you are today without a doubt or contradiction. This Act 6, this is our cross to bear. Now, always understand, the cross existed before Christianity. We have to be very clear about that the cross existed before Christianity. And I think I did do a little something on the cross. But before I do that, um, I want us to look at this. It says he bared his cross. And it says, as a verb, it means to carry, endure, support, wait, or produce fruit. That's what bear means. So I'm going to look here. Bear, to carry, means to carry or support. And I did look it up somewhere else. But I just want you to understand that's our job, to support Prophet Noble Drew Ali, to protect Prophet Noble Drew Ali, to protect these lessons so that they don't get caught up under the Black Foundation. So, it is very, very important that we understand that. So I also looked it up in the dictionary. I will share that. I will share that with you as well. So when I say Act 6 is our cross, listen to this. To hold up, support. The synonyms are sustain and uphold. To hold or remain firm under this Moorish movement. It can also mean to bring forth, and it should be to bring forth because we should be awakening our people, giving a reawakening to everyone who's calling themselves Negro, Black, and Colored. Taking them back to their natural state. No, we're not getting the TV publicity and the radio publicity and all this stuff because that's not what it's about. We're not entertaining. We're uplifting. We are educating. We are teaching. All in love. Because as Moorish Americans, we have learned to love instead of hate. Now, who does the prophet need? I'm going to stop sharing this. Who does the prophet need to do this support, to do this? So we're going to go into our Moorish literature because I like to be thorough as I can. I like thoroughness. I'm not going to teach you off the cuff. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. I know I got it. Maybe. Oh, must have come on. So let me just hit it here. And then go back here. And here. Okay, we got it. So who are the Simons? Who are the Simons of Cyrene in this modern day and hour? Who is it? Who's going to help to bear that cross? So I'm going to take you to the prophet makes a plea to nation. So it begins like this: our divine and national movement. What kind of movement? Divine and national. Say it with me. Divine and national. Say it one more time. Divine and national. You know, I'm going to ask you to say it a third time. Divine and national movement stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I, the prophet, am applying to, listen carefully, all what kind of Moors? Loyal, faithful Moors. Because there are some Moors who are not loyal, and there are some Moors who are not faithful, and most of them are embezzlers and trying to divert you away from the Moorish Science Temple Divine and National Movement and lead you under their wing to walk their path and then claim everything the prophet bought. So the prophet's looking for who? Loyal, faithful Moors, loyal, faithful members. That's what he's looking for. And then he's also looking for American citizens to help him in a great uplifting act of uplifting fallen humanity. Where? Among the Asiatic race and nation. Now I'm not going to say corruption because I don't want to say it, but I didn't I? Anyway, there is a corruption in the Asiatic race. The corruption in the Asiatic race is that because we say we black, we are, in some people's mind, we are excluded because we say we black. Even though they will repeat every dance, every song, every act we take, every act we do, they don't see us as their brothers and sisters. So if you're in China, if you're from China, guess what? You're an Asiatic. If you're from Japan, you're an Asiatic. If you're from Saudi Arabia, you're an Asiatic. If you're from Iran, you're an Asiatic. If you're from Palestine, you're an Asiatic. If you're from Abyssinia, you're an Asiatic. If you're from Egypt, you're an Asiatic. Because there are only two races, European and Asiatic. But I done come into your house. He's coming to the Asiatic house. He's divided the land into 7 continents. He's created a color scope for race: red, yellow, green, blue. Well, red, yellow, brown, what else? Black, to continue the division. Then he does. Then this next thing comes along. He's gonna make you praise his God. I listen. I go into various places, and I notice when I go into different Asiatic offices and business, it's all about praising the Lord. Now, there's nothing wrong with Christianity, but that was not the gift given to us, or the vine and fig tree given to us by our forefathers. So in order for you to walk that walk, you got to give something up. Do you understand what you're giving up? But let me stay focused. I'm going to go on a whole nother lesson. So it says that I, the prophet, am applying to all loyal, faithful Moors, members, and the American citizens to help me in my great uplifting falling humanity among the Asiatic race and nation. For I have suffered much and severely in the past through a misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to. Still going on. We're creating new misunderstandings to even make it worse. This is one of the reasons why I disagree with a lot of book writing. Because if you put the information out there, what makes you think people are going to want to feel like, especially our people, because they assume they know something because they read it. Why do people need to come to temple if you put everything out there? What they coming to temple for? They can work from their assumption in your book. So the prophet says he has suffered much and severely from a misunderstanding. It goes on to say, it is the great God Allah alone that guides the destiny of this divine and national movement. The lesson says the gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah. And some of you have failed the first test, because the first test of Moorish science is to submit your will. Because guess what you just proclaimed when you proclaimed your nationality? You became a Muslim. And you were to submit your will. Not bring your trash in the movement with you. Not try to create a philosophy around, use Moorish to create your own philosophy. That's not what it's about. Because then you don't get the real effects of Moorish science. So, along with that, we have to look at some things in our divine constitution and bylaws just to keep down the confusion. So let me read a little further, and I'm going to try to get to that before it's time to close out. It says, I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names to answer and apply to the what? Free national constitution of this free national republic of the United States of America. So then my question to you, was this a free national republic in 1864? I'm listening. I'm just trying to see if anybody answered. I know I'm not hearing anybody, but 1864, was there a free national republic? Was there a free national constitution of this free national republic of the United States of America? Yes, there was. But it was pushed to the side so that they could create the Civil Rights Acts of 1866. Which then told you which told you a whole new story. Hey, you're not free because you can't go in that bar he just went in. You can't go in that store she just went in. You can't ride in the same car. Oh, you can't go to that school. Well, I don't think I was trying to do any of that on the plantation. Do you think so? You think that's what you're doing on the plantation? You're trying to go where your master go and hang with your master. Was that what you're trying to do? Or were you confined to a plantation to work until you were told not to? Where you were deprived of your human rights, your human and divine rights, and labeled as property? Property names that you still carry today, Mr. Johnson, Miss Williams, Mr. Smith. What's the change? I asked you last week, have we gotten as far away from Dred Scott as we think? And the answer would be no. We haven't moved as far as we think we've moved. It just looks better and it smells a little better, but it's still the same old funk. It's still mental slavery or the Negro problem. So this goes on to say that's why I'm calling on all true national citizens to help me morally and financially in my great work I am doing to help this national government. So a lot of us look at more science and we talk about religion, but do you realize that us doing what we need to do helps this government? And by helping this government, we will also help the world. Do we understand the magnitude of the job we are called to do? What is your vision in more science? Because a lot of us, and I'm not saying that this is wrong, but a lot of us think if we own a business and we make money that we are succeeding. Hmm. We have a duty to solve the Negro problem and to rid this country of mental slavery. That's our duty. So that cross we bear is Act 6. By learning that information, we can help Prophet Noble Drew Ali not get crucified, not get put under the label of black. While we sit around here trying to prove who got the biggest fez on. It goes on to say, for without a free national name, with a decent flag of your forefathers, there is not a national divine title of the government in which we live. This is from your true and divine prophet unto all American and foreign sympathizers. So he's not just talking to us. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. If the prophet talks to the people, why don't he? So, as I said, we also need to take a look at the other acts, because all the acts give us some specific directions. Let's see which one is this. So, we're going to look at Act 4. And I need somebody to explain, why is Moorish Science under what we call a blackfoundation.org? Those two don't go together. Moors, get on your jobs. Get on your job. Wait, now that's including me too. That I'm not excluded. But Act 4 says all citizens. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Let me look at my divine constitution. See this? See this? I'm gonna knock some stuff down. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. Watch this. This says all citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Then I look on my divine constitution. It says all members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. See, this is where. See, here's what you gotta know. Stop change. The moment you change the truth, the moment you change a word of the truth, it immediately becomes a lie. Let's look at Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. No organization of Moorish America is, now this is on the screen, you can see this. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Why do you think? And this wasn't the way I was going to go today, but since Alada took me this way, I'm going to travel along with him. Who gave you the right to change the truth? I understand part and parcel, but I'm not understanding why citizen is on here. Because according to the prophet, true citizenship is one of the things that we should be seeking. As the old folks say, there's a dead cat on a line somewhere. Now, and just in case, because I want y'all to see this, and I need most to wake up. I just need you to wake up. Are you going to be a Simon, or are you going to be a crucifier? Just a question. Because we have to self-check. We have to self-check. That is essential in our growth as Moorish Americans. We have to self-check. And then when you look at Act 4, let me, because there's a lot of people trying to claim more science. And all my money making Moors, I need y'all to come together. We need somebody to claim our stuff back. Here's somebody else. And this is Hermetic. Now I don't even know the prophet bought nothing Hermetic, but I'm just saying. Most we gotta get on our jobs. That's all I'm saying. We got to get on our jobs and reclaim what is ours. And it says all members must preserve these holy and divine laws, which is divine constitution and bylaws. Which is oh wait a minute, I'm not sharing. I don't think I'm even sharing. I'm talking to you. Okay, so I need to stop sharing that. And we're going to share something else. Got all these people around here claiming our Moorish lessons, and we sitting back on our thumbs. What was that thing? Bear back on your fingers. Sit on your fingers and rear back on your thumbs. You used to say that's something we used to say when you wanted to sit down. Say sit on your fingers, rear back on your thumbs. But Act 4 says all members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. So there are two sets of laws here: holy and divine laws, divine constitution, and bylaws are our holy and divine laws. And then, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. And for some, it's part and parcel. Part and parcel means of being a very essential part of the government. We were here at the foundation, and we have to be here at the restoration of the government because the government needs to be restored. And they can only restore the government by first restoring us. And that's what we need to clearly, clearly understand. So let's take a walk back, make sure that you understood what we talked about today. Our topic was who will bear the cross for Drew Ali. We asked what is the Moorish cross to bear. We said Act 6 would be our Moorish cross. Now, what I didn't say is how do you prepare yourself to bear the Moorish cross? And that should be through Act 7. And in case somebody doesn't know, Act 7 tells you this. So this is what you need to do to become a bona fide, verified Simon of Cyrene of the Moorish Science Temple, or Simon of Cyrene for Prophet Noble Drew Ali. All members must promptly attend their meetings, become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and for those who can't accept part and parcel, I'll read the other way. All members must promptly attend their meetings, become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues, keep in line with all the necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey fathers and mothers and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. Act 7 is the process. Act 6 is the learning tool. When you learn Act 6, then you can move on up to Act 5 and understand why our organization is not to cause any confusion over the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. So, these are some of the things that we need to get on one accord, because it doesn't make sense that we are not on one accord for these particular things. That is a problem in itself. So, as I move on, and I didn't get my co-host here. He might be probably called because got started, but I invite Sheik Jackson Day, and I think I'm going to invite him next week because I want him to explain to you some of the things, trials and tribulations he had to go through, um, being in the Morris Science Temple and trying to get this job done. Because some people think we didn't do anything, and I think that's so unfair for you to make such an assumption. It is really unfair because people have worked. Sisters, you wearing turbans because as sisters of my generation lost their jobs so that you could wear turbans. People lost their jobs so that you could wear fezzes and turbans today. That didn't just happen. Do you understand? People made sacrifices so that the things you enjoy today couldn't be enjoyed 50 years ago, 40 years ago, couldn't be enjoyed until the members of that particular time took stands, lost jobs, and all kinds of things so that you today can wear a turban or a fez. You don't seem to get it. That people made sacrifices so that you could get more science. And there's a whole story. There's betrayal. It's a whole scenario. There are betrayals. There's uplifting. There's falling down and getting up, rising above. You young moles don't get it, but you run your mouth a lot. A lot. It's not the prettiest story in the world, but it's truthful. It's honest. People striving um, to do better. People sacrifice. Y'all really don't get what it takes to get what you have. Y'all really don't get that. You think it just happened. Oh, I can wear my fast today. That wasn't always the story. There was a point where it was so easy to correct your records. But you get people who get in here and get these lessons and blessings without um, guidelines and parameters, and they tear their stuff up. They reading law books and all this stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. But that does not supersede the revelation brought by Prophet Noble Drew Ali through the great God of law. Understand, a prophet is a historian, he's a constitutional man, as well as divine. We got to get the prophet his just due. Of course, I'm. It's time for me to wind it on down, and I know that the best way I can wind this program down today is to read the voice of the prophet. And it says, if you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America and become a part of this divine movement. Then you will have the power to redeem your race because you will know what? Who you are and your forefathers were. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. So one of the things we need to understand, when we fell into Negro, black, and colored, we denied our forefathers. We separated ourselves and started clinging to the names and principles that delude to slavery. And we're doing that same thing today, but we're a little more sophisticated with it. But it is what it is. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now, and need every one of you who think that your condition can be better This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. If the European and other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved ONLY, only as it can, and that is by the Moorish National Divine Movement. Some of us mistake religion for the whole of Moorish science. Religion is one part of Moorish science, it's not the whole of Moorish science. It says if you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. This is what was meant when it said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you by the prophet. Didn't say you was going to see some angels with some wings on. Didn't say that. It did not say that. So, it's, of course, we're coming to the end of the program, and I'm ready to wound up, but I can't. So let me do some inviting. Let me invite you to our headquarters at 1055 North Milton Avenue, as well as our sister temple at 2900 West Pressman Street. Meetings on Sundays are from 12 to 2, on Fridays 8 to 10. Join me for divine and national instructions on Sundays from 10:15 to 11:45. Um, Prepare for actual Freedom Day on September the 26th, 2026. Um, and I don't think that I do have any other announcements, but join me next week. Oh, follow the Science of More Science on YouTube. You'll find all my programs that I've done are there. Um, and if you have a topic you would like for me to cover, please feel free to inbox me or send me in Messenger a topic or question that you would like for me to cover in dealing with more science. I will gladly do that for you. And, so of course, like I said, it's going to be that hour. And, I always want to thank and appreciate the, for you allowing me to bring to you the Moorish light and love and understanding. And in closing, I like to say this: embrace the prophet, embrace Allah, embrace divine national, embrace one another, and embrace the mission. So, this is the end of this segment of our program. Will you be a Simon of Cyrene for Prophet Noble Drew Ali, or will you be a crucified? Ask yourself that question. Where do you fit in the scheme of things when it comes to more science? Are you in the house or on the outside of the house? Okay, I'm not supposed to do that. I closed out. Okay, so I thank you, and we're going to close out with a little music.